big transition is coming right after we go by this weekend, everybody. All this tropical moisture coming into the Gulf, still showing chances of formation. Matter of fact, it has raised up a little bit overnight. Not great chances, but it has gone a little more northward, and our chances of formation have increased. You can see the latest update on our potential velocity anomaly. This Kelvin wave, a favorable environment we have pushing through all the way towards the 30th of May, has increased over here for the Gulf, for the southeastern U.S., also into the Pacific. Now you can see as we go 5 days past that, that grows more into that weather pattern where we have that cold front coming through and chance for formation in this region. Still showing is bringing a lot of heavy rainfall, more likely just going to be disorganized thunderstorms. But right after this is where we get that northward push. And look at the latest information showing that chance grows all the way from the Central America all the way towards the southeastern United States. And this is where the Euro keeps showing something could form right here into the Gulf. Now it's something weak, but it's starting to rise up more and more in the chances. And right after that is going to intensify even more of that northward push into the Gulf, everybody. So we have two different weather patterns happening, everybody. So first, we have this cold front coming through that's going to bring that chance across the southeast. That's going to bring the rainfall. Then right after that, we're going to see that northward push into the Gulf. But there's a good chance that we could get a big high pressure right here. And this would direct everything right towards the eastern Pacific or maybe even the western Gulf. So it's showing more information for today, and showing right after that weather pattern is going to go back towards the eastern Pacific but start working its way up towards us again. So look at the transition and the updates, everybody, showing as we go literally the first week into June when this favorable energy comes. Look how much more this has grown all the way from Central America into the Gulf, right across the southeastern U.S., and showing a better chance for something to form right off the coast of the southeast as we go through that week. But it's not just this one chance, because after this, we're going to continuously see that northward push trying to form something into the Gulf. We're going to stay in this weather pattern for a number of days. In fact, even when we check with the European for a chance for a tropical depression to form, look at this, the chances has gone up right around that time for something to form. Right here, right around June 4th through June 6th. For something to form up, everybody. Now look at this. This is what you really want to see when you look at your PNA, Pacific North American pattern. We're about to go into that very big positive as we go through this transition, then quickly to a negative. So first we have the positive. When you have a positive PNA, you get a high ridge on the western U.S. and you get a trough on the eastern U.S. That's why we're seeing that weather pattern of this going out through the east, northeast, and really an unfavorable environment is bringing is fighting with the dust with some dry air and the Saharan air layer. But when you go towards a negative, it does the opposite. So now you're getting the trough along the western U.S. and you're getting that higher ridge coming towards the central and the eastern U.S. This is where all this can come back from the Pacific and still head back towards the Gulf, everybody. And you can clearly see those big changes happening back to back. Look at that. So right after this cool front and this trough, we're going to go into a higher ridge from the central to the eastern U.S., giving a chance for this disorganized thunderstorm, something to head through Central America into the Gulf. Now, whether we get this high pressure block or not, that's still yet to be determined. So as we look at the latest update going towards the end of May, the very beginning of June, you can see how we're going to that very high ridge on the western U.S. all the way into Canada. And we have that trough of that cool front coming through as we go through Monday through Wednesday. And that's where it's cycling everything around with all this precipitation. More likely will just be disorganized thunderstorms. But still, GFS is trying to form something. But right after that, as we go by the 4th and beyond, now we're getting that high ridge coming all the way across the U.S. And that's going to give a chance for something to either head into Mexico, into the Gulf, or the Eastern Pacific after that. It's still too far to know for sure. But we're seeing a little bit more activity in the ensembles, just a little bit more. So you can see better here on your precipitable water. So as we're getting that cool front coming through, chances for formation is very low as we go all the way from Sunday all the way towards Wednesday and Thursday, maybe even a little bit more. This is with the European showing by Thursday. It might actually get a weak low pressure into the northern Gulf around this time, still just bringing disorganized thunderstorms. Still must watch it. GFS is still forming something up a little bit further towards southern Florida. Then right after that weather pattern, that's where it opens up for whatever is building over here by the Central American Gyre, where that goes into the Pacific, towards Mexico, into the Western Gulf, into the Northern Gulf. We don't know that part yet, but we're seeing a little bit better information for today that something is trying to form. Showing that after we go by this weekend and we go into this weather pattern, we get a lot of chances with the ensembles, showing a lot of low pressure systems forming up right off the coast of the southeast, also over here by Central American Gyre and into the Pacific. So we have a lot of activity that's going to happen right at the very beginning of hurricane season and showing better chances of something to form up. Either over here by Central America, by Yucatan, going right on that angle towards northern Florida to southeast of the U.S. around that time. And it intensifies later as we get that favorable pocket strengthening into the Gulf after we go by June 4th and beyond, showing that's where a great chance for something to form. For Central America as well, but it has raised up over the chances into the Gulf. Showing the latest chances as you look through with Google Minds and with Euro High Resolution, showing the latest chances as we go literally 5 and 6 days. More likely we'll build up some kind of low pressure over here towards the Yucatan, towards Belize, and not necessarily the ones showing the Gulf just yet, but we really need to watch this, everybody. This right here is by the Euro ensembles. So we need to watch for the chance for something to form. You can see with GFS on the latest run that just come out this morning, showing chances of formation across the southeast as we go by Saturday. Could bring some thunderstorms towards Bermuda, but it starts building up the chances right there by Western Caribbean, towards Cuba, right towards the Yucatan, and goes towards Florida as we go further towards that northward push. This is bringing, once again, heavy rainfall towards southern Florida on this scenario, also bringing some winds with it as well. And it's just like what Alex would have done. It would have bring that flooding across southern Florida. Then right after that, maybe a northward push of something else trying to form. GFS brings it into the Pacific as a very powerful hurricane. However, the latest update on the Saharan air layer, the dust, is actually good news, showing it does get pulled all the way into the Gulf, so it stops a lot of this moisture from building together and forming something. The bulk of it still hits over here by the Eastern Caribbean as you go through for Monday, still curving around, but it's enough to mess up any kind of formation like maybe what the GFS is seeing. After that is what we need to see, is if this is going to stay into the Gulf and mess up that northward push, or is it going to stay further away? Still too far to know for sure. The latest updates pushes that a little bit further towards the west than the previous updates. But when you look with the latest information with the Euro, showing really no formation expected with all that precipitation because of the shear coming through of the trough, plus what's bringing with that dry air from the Saharan air layer from all this dust moving towards the west. But it shows your chances for a low pressure to form into the northern Gulf does raise up, and it does stay there for a number of days before finally peeling off towards the east coast, towards northeast, maybe as a powerful storm. That's what it's showing in the latest information. And something into the Pacific after that as well. A lot of favorable environment, a lot of favorable lift and energy is moving across everybody. So far showing all the way till next Thursday. So it's still a number of days away, everybody. Maybe we'll get a low pressure forming from all this tropical moisture pushing forth with this weather pattern. This is a very narrow window and is still a number of days away. Still, we need to watch it just in case, because this is not only the latest run by the Euro, but it's also the Euro, everybody. Now, this also is bringing a big concern. I know a lot of people say, hey, what's the big concern? We need this flooding. This rainfall is a blessing. And I know this is the time of year y'all get this across the southeast. So it is a blessing. But once you get so much rainfall, the ground's waterlogged. So when the next system comes around and does the same amount of rainfall, it's going to bring a lot of flooding. So far, the European is bringing all that heavy rainfall right towards southeastern United States as we go through this weather pattern. When you look with the GFS, it takes it further south all the way towards southern Florida, going across the western Caribbean into the Bahamas. So we still don't know yet where this is going to set up, but wherever the setup is still going to bring a lot of tropical moisture. And you need to watch for a lot of rotation, a lot of chances for something to form. And as of making this video, National Hurricane Center don't have any outlooks as of this time. Now for today, you will have a lot of thunderstorms. It will be wide range. Like I said many times, this omega block is creating this weird pattern where nothing is really going to come together. It's just going to be multiple areas. Now you have multiple chances of tornadoes today, a little bit for Kentucky, but mostly over here for Texas. So here's your cities and states at risk for a possible spin up for today. Also the wind threat. You have the wind threat to the north. That's what mainly your threat will be. Over here for Texas, it will be the wind and the hail. So here's your cities and states at risk for any winds for today. This is 40 miles per hour wind gusts, maybe pockets of 50. And the hail threat, which will be towards the north and might stay longer towards the northwest. But over here for Texas is where you have chances for large hail, maybe 2 inches in diameter. So here's your cities and states at risk for the hail threat for today. And you can see the latest run with HRRR. So as we go through the evening, we get some strong storms over here for Texas. This is bringing chances for winds, also chances for a quick spin up as you go through for today. These storms also brewing up over here for Kentucky as you go through the early afternoon, but it really dissipates and stays around Florida after that because all this tropical moisture is going to come towards the southeast for a number of days. Be aware of that. You also get some sporadic storms moving across for North Dakota, Minnesota, a little bit for Wisconsin as you're going through for today and through tomorrow morning. So it will bring some winds and a little bit of hail threat. Also for Idaho, western Montana, moving through into Canada. Remember, that storm spinning around for a number of days is going to bring some storms for y'all as well. But like I said many times, there's no big storm coming, so you need to go ask those people, where's this big storm that they push so hard? Now for tomorrow, this will spread more across the Gulf, across Texas, Louisiana. You'll get some across Ohio as well and West Virginia, bringing just sporadic storms, just a small chance for hail, a small chance for winds. But it will be stronger over here across for Kansas, Oklahoma, going into Arkansas. Also was coming across the Gulf for Texas and Louisiana. That could raise up your tornado threat just a little bit for tomorrow. There's not a big threat right now, but I think it could add up if this keeps showing into fruition. And for the mid-Atlantic, as you go through from tomorrow evening across West Virginia, and the Delmarva, you're going to get some thunderstorms that's going to come across pretty quickly. But remember my forecast, everybody, with the Omega block, it's very here and there on any thunderstorm, so there's never a big storm coming around the corner. You need to ask where that's at. It never showed up. So other than the severe weather we have for today, we do have chances for winds for tomorrow for Virginia. And that would be about it on severe weather. Everything else is just regular thunderstorms. And you can see the day after that, all the way for the next 8 days, there's no severe weather expected. In fact, we can even take it longer and say all the way towards Thursday, where we might get some more storms over here for the Northwest, for Washington, Oregon, Idaho, western Montana. From that system just spinning around, could bring in more chances of wind, maybe even some hail, while you get a little bit across the Carolinas. And that's it. Look at this. As you go through for Friday, Saturday, and then it just disappears Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Now, as we go by Friday into this weekend, this is where the rainfall is going to add up for the southeast, and this is going to greatly help out with your drought all the way until Tuesday. But then that next weather pattern is going to come more into the southeast, and there's going to be a flooding problem. And you can see this just going by the national blend of models, bringing heavy precipitation all the way towards next Saturday, all the way across central and southern Florida into the Bahamas. All that brown is going 7 to 8, maybe even 9+ inches of rainfall. So you'll love the rainfall. It's going to be a blessing for a couple of days. After about 2 or 3 days, it's going to start creating problems. Then after a week, it's going to be a big issue. But yes, obviously by the drought, you can see these areas, definitely a blessing at first. And that is your latest update, everybody. So thank you again for your time. Hope you have a great day out there for today. I will see you again for tomorrow for another update, God willing. Hopefully we don't see this increase even more. And before I go, a quick word from our Father, everybody. Romans 14, 8 through 12. For whether we live unto the Lord, and whether we die unto the Lord. Whether we live, therefore, or die, we are the Lord's. For to this end Christ both died and rose and revived, that he might be Lord both of the dead and the living. But why doest thou judge thy brother? Or why doest thou set at naught thy brother? For we shall all stand before the judgment seat of Christ. For it is written, As I live, saith the Lord, every knee shall bow to me, and every tongue shall confess to God. So then every one of us shall give account of himself to God. Amen. Have a great day, everybody. Be careful of these storms if you are in them. Remember, this weather pattern is going to calm down as far as severe weather. It's not going to ramp up. It's going to calm down. But what we need to watch out for is what's building over here in the Gulf. That is not good. Above all things, all glory does go to God, our Father in heaven, Yahweh. And I always hope he keeps you safe every single day of your life and forever. Amen. Hallelujah. Amen. Have a great day, everybody.